Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Genshin Impact character review series, where we take a look at each character in the game, review them, and I give my opinions on them. Today's character is the CEO of GEO, the Geo Archon himself, Zhongli, Zhongli, and, well, he is very well known for causing a whole ruckus when he was about to come out, and then MiHoYo buffed him, and yeah. It was a crazy situation, I must say. And now, well, Zhongli is considered one of the strongest and needed characters in the game. And yeah, for very, very good reasons. And yeah, as a first opinion by me, yeah, for sure, Zhongli is just extremely good. So good. He's very versatile, he can do many things. And that's shield. So why don't we take a look at his kit, go in deep, and see what makes Zhongli so good. So then, starting off with his attacks. You cannot tell me otherwise, Zhongli has the best attack animation in the whole game. So Zhongli is a polearm user, and he has a very unique style of attacks. He does some slashes a bit at the start, and then plunges the spear into the ground and kicks it. He fucking kicks it, the spear then starts spinning and dealing damage, and then he thrusts forward like, I'm sorry, I don't care about your Eulas or whoever else you like. Zhongli kicking the spear is the most badass attack animation I have ever seen in this game. He wins 100%. And then his charge attack is a bit weird. As said, most polearm users don't share the same charge attack. Rosaria, Zhanling, and Hu Tao do the spear thrust through enemies, while Xiao does his claw, and Zhongli does his multiple spears in a line thing that is nice, looks good, amazing. It is unique, but unfortunately it does have a bit of a weird hitbox, and it's not really used in general. Again, looks cool, but unfortunately, again, the weird hitbox of these spears is, again, very weird and not really consistent and reliable. So yeah, attacks, beautiful, good. I mean, they're fast, they're very quick, and again, beautiful, badass, nice. So then let's move on to Zhongli's skill. So Zhongli's skill has two actions. You can either press the skill or hold it. When pressing the skill, you'll create a pillar, a Dominus Lapidis, I think it's called, and this pillar will deal some damage when it appears, and then it will start pulsing every few seconds, and that deals geo damage. This pillar can also resonate with other geo constructs, that is the GeoMC's skill and burst, Ningyan's wall, Albedo's flower, and those are it, right? And yeah, those are geo constructs, and they will also pulse alongside Zhongli's pillar if they are present on the field. This damage is very much fine, and it's a nice, extra damage that is on the field if an enemy happens to go close to the pillar. And to be honest, the area is very small, so it's okay. You don't really need to play close to the pillar to maximize its damage. Again, it's not that much. And the thing is that if you play close to the pillar, there is a very good chance you'll start climbing on it while you're fighting, and that will disrupt your DPS, waste your time to climb up or fall down. It's very annoying, and it happens. So yeah, the pillar is good, but it can be annoying while fighting. And then also you can hold the skill down. Zhongli will do a pulse that deals geo damage, and the important thing is that he will form a Jade Shield. Also, if you have not reached the maximum amount of pillars, which usually is 1, through his first constellation it becomes 2, the hold skill will still also create a pillar. But yeah, the Jade Shield is the important part here. So what does it do? Well, first of all, it scales extremely well with Zhongli's HP. Extremely well. And that's really it. It has incredible scaling, good base HP on itself. Then it also has 150 damage absorption to physical and elemental damage. And then not only that, it also reduces the resistance of enemies. It reduces physical and elemental resistance. It's just so broken. It's a shield that never breaks, that has incredible duration. It has more duration than the cooldown of the hold skill, and then it also reduces the resistance of enemies. It's crazy good. It's broken. Actually just broken. And it literally, in something like the Abyss, it can literally make a healer redundant. You won't need a Bennett, you won't need Diona, Chichi, Barbara. No, the Zhongli shield will take care of everything. Now, not only that, through his first Ascension talent, whenever the shield takes damage, your character gains increased shield strength. So if you apply the shield again, it's even more powerful. So yeah, it's crazy. Zhongli's shield is definitely, the talking point everywhere, and for a good reason. The scaling is incredible. Doing a bit of calculations. At level 70, yes, 70, a Zhongli with a plus 20 HP artifact, not an HP sands, just the normal flower. And if you have Zhongli's stone thingy, his skill leveled up to 6, you'll create a 5000 HP shield, which might not sound a lot, but then it has 150 damage absorption, which makes it extremely good. It tanks it up completely. And it's, this shield is the main reason why people run an HP time piece, an HP Sands of Eon on Zhongli. But let's, there's still another thing to talk about Zhongli's HP scaling. So, the shield is strong, the pillar is nice. If you have the C1, it's very nice to have two pillars resonate with each other. But yeah, that shield. And then let's go to his ultimate, his burst. Zhongli's burst is the Planet Befall, where he just drops casually a meteor on top of the enemy's head. And the animation is also, the most badass animation out there, because Zhongli just casually crosses his arm and is like, yeah, I'll just drop a meteor from the sky, just casually, and scream Tendo Bansho while doing it. So yeah, so this skill has incredible scaling on attack. It's like 700 plus on level 6. And the main thing about this skill is that it petrifies enemies. Petrify is a reaction that is completely unique to Zhongli. No one else can do Petrify, only Zhongli. And Petrify works exactly like Freeze instead, but the thing is that Petrify cannot be broken. With a frozen enemy, if you attack using a Claymore character, you'll shatter the freeze and deal damage. Petrify, you cannot do that. No matter what you throw at petrified enemies, they're gonna be stuck there. The Petrify duration isn't that long, but it still is very much significant. It's like 2+ seconds that you can just go crazy on damage or dodge and, keep some, get some breathing room to dodge an attack or something. And talking about dodging, the animation for the meteor and the cutscene to fall, it's so long that it allows Zhongli to just dodge so many attacks. But because of that delay on the meteor to fall, it can be a bit hard to time it, especially against bosses like the Hypostasis, where, they have a very short window of time to, deal damage to them. You can easily miss the meteor. And for some other, like, you're damaging an Abyss Mage and then he starts doing his dance animation, you throw out the meteor, and then until the meteor falls, the Abyss Mage has formed his shield. That can happen because there is a pretty big delay, but it's not that common. Again, the time you just use invincibility frames through this cutscene is a lot, and yeah, you just dodge everything. And then we come to the second Ascension talent, which is the big thing. So what does the second Ascension talent do? Well, it makes it so every single instance of damage that Zhongli deals scales off of his HP, max HP. His normal and charged attacks and plunging attacks deal extra damage based on his HP. The pillar the pulse that it does deals extra damage, because in a ratio to his HP. And then the ultimate gets a 33% ratio extra damage of the HP. Like, the meteor has its own crazy scaling, crazy numbers, and then you add that extra HP percent through the Ascension talent, and it's crazy damage. It's crazy scaling. Yes, this Ascension talent doesn't add extra HP to the shield, but the shield itself has its own crazy percentages, so we do not need extra tankiness to this shield, please. So yeah, that's the reason why Zhongli has some crazy HP scaling, and even if you just stack HP on him, you'll still be dealing good burst damage at least. And here comes the thing about using an HP percent Sands of Vion in a sort of mixed Zhongli. So yeah, let's touch upon roles, right? So he's very versatile. Zhongli can be an amplifier support, as it's called, where you just use the shield to reduce the resistances of enemies and buff your whole party, to keep them alive. This Zhongli usually uses, everything on HP, maybe. There's the shield bot Zhongli kind of type where it's all HP. HP percent goblet, HP percent circlet, HP percent sands. You give him an HP percent weapon and he has like 50 plus thousand HP, and the shield never drops. Plus, you get, Zhongli has some fine attack, base attack, and then, because of the scaling of the Ascension talent to the ult still deals a good amount of damage. That shield bot Zhongli does exist, although it's not really the preferred, playstyle. The preferred playstyle is a mixed kind of Zhongli, where the shield has good HP, and you still have good geo damage, you still have some good crit rate and crit damage, ratios, but you still have that HP Sands of Vion to have a good beefy shield and still get that extra damage on the meteor. I say that around 27,000 plus HP is the good amount, because at that point the shield has like 8,000 HP plus the base plus the absorption, the 150 damage absorption. The shield just never falls. I have a friend who has Zhongli. He used an attack Sands of Vion and had around 22 to 23,000 HP, and his shield would break against enemies because he just didn't have enough. And yeah, while me, at around 28,000 plus, the shield never ever breaks, even in the freaking abyss. I just have one party, I say, okay, Chi-Chi goes on this party, alright, Zhongli goes on the other, that other party is gonna stay at 100% HP, no problem, unless it's a Xiao, because you cannot protect Xiao from his self-damage, nor Hu Tao, but Zhongli just protects them so much. He's such an incredible enabler. It's freaking crazy. So yeah, you can also have him be a sort of geo damage guy, where you can go for an attack percent timepiece, where you care about the pillar damage, the hold skill damage, where it does that huge pulse, and of course your meteor damage, because again it has crazy scaling with attack. The numbers are massive, but again, people like to go for a middle balanced sort of play style. There's also the physical damage Zhongli. Because of that physical resistance shred through the shield, you just go attack timepiece, physical damage bonus, and then crit damage crit rate, and Zhongli just deals it. He attacks really quickly. That kicking spear, that spinning spear does a lot of damage. Everything just deals a lot of damage, and again, the resistance shred through the shield is just too much. And yeah, a physical damage kind of Zhongli can easily work, and then you can also support him very easily as well, and allow your supports to be very good and protect them. Like, very, very crazy, very versatile, and he's fun to play. As for artifact sets, then, the two-piece Tenacity of the Millelith that came out that gives him 20% HP is, very much used. You can easily skip it if you're using an HP Sands, but you can easily... It's very, very universal. The 20% extra HP is very, very much appreciated, and it can, again, fit in many, many roles. Either it's a geo damage Zhongli, either it's a, support Zhongli, shield bot Zhongli, of course, or even sort of the physical damage, but not that much. But again, that 20% extra HP, very useful. Now for the 4-piece. The 4-piece is sort of made for Zhongli because it increases shield strength on your allies, attack and such. But the thing is that because that buff has such short duration and it requires the pillar to do damage, and because of the range of the pillar pulse, it just isn't that much. It's not reliable. It's very inconsistent, and again, playing around the pillar can also hurt you by just dashing towards it and climbing it. Again, it's too inconsistent to use it. In idea, in theory, it's a very, very useful thing. In execution, enemies just run away from the pillar, and it's not worth it using the press skill to move the pillar to another location, to the other location where enemies are. You always want to keep your skill to hold it and get the shield back. Again, so the 4-piece Tenacity of the Millelith, unfortunately, the inconsistency of the hits of the pillar, unfortunately, just ruin the 4-piece Tenacity of the Millelith. And that is why people go for a 2-piece Tenacity of the Millelith and either a 2-piece Noblesse or a 2-piece Archaic Petra. If you want more burst damage, then the 2-piece Noblesse is for you. If you want more general damage on your pillar as well, then you can go for a 2-piece Archaic. It also, of course, depends. Do you have spare Noblesse artifacts to give Zhongli? Or, are your Archaic Petra rolls that good? That works. It's what you have available and what you want. The extra geo damage on the Archaic Petra is very much useful on all of his damage, or if you care more of that about the burst damage, then go for the Noblesse set. You can of course go for a 2-piece Noblesse and a 2-piece Archaic Petra, maximizing the burst damage even more. If you have some sort of bad-ish rolls where your artifacts are filled with HP percent, or still if you have one artifact that is filled with HP, like 15+% HP, you can easily skip the 2-piece Tenacity of the Millelith because, you can say, I have an artifact that fits, that compensates for the 20% that the Tenacity of the Millelith would give me. And it works. 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Archaic. Maybe 4-piece Belied, but it's not really used. The 4-piece Belied set, the 2-piece gives you extra shield strength, and the 4-piece increases your damage when you have a shield on you. So, it fits very well with Zhongli. It's usually used with main DPSs that Zhongli supports because, again, you always have the shield up and you always have the Belied effect. And with the extra shield strength that the Belied effect gives you, well, the main DPS will never lose the shield at all. So you can, if you have Zhongli as a support, you can use the Retracting Belied on some other characters. But for himself, it's not the best, actually. Maybe for a more geo damage focused, but still, the 2-piece Archaic and 2-piece Noblesse are much better options. The 4-piece Belied can work on a physical damage Zhongli, but Pale Flame and Bloodstained is a better combination. People suggest the 4-piece Pale Flame effect, which in theory again will give you more damage than the 2-piece Bloodstained and 2-piece Pale Flame combination. But again, because it relies on the elemental skill and because of the inconsistency, the 4-piece Pale Flame can be a bit, again, inconsistent and ruin your damage. If you learn and practice a lot to, again, work with the pulse of the pillar, then sure, you can go for a 4-piece Pale Flame, but 2-piece Pale Flame and 2-piece Bloodstained is a bit easier to acquire, It's easier to farm. But yeah, For all of those builds, once again, you can use an HP Sands of Eon, but attack can also be used, if you have a bit of bad rolls as in it didn't go to crit damage, crit rate, but it went to HP percent. Those can be used with Zhongli and then get an attack percent Sands of Eon. But yeah, so I think we should jump to weapons immediately because there's a very big mention to have. So, as we said, the shield bot Zhongli playstyle exists, where you just stack as much HP as you can. Well, the only weapon that you can use to work with that shield bot Zhongli is the 3-star Black Tassel. It's a 3-star, it's actually not that easily obtainable, but it gives a huge amount of HP percent. The base attack it's a 3-star, so you don't care, and the effect, it increases damage against slimes, so if there are slimes in the abyss, that ultimate is gonna deal more damage. But no, the Black Tassel is usually used because it has that HP percent substat, and well, it feeds a complete shield bot Zhongli. Else, don't use it. So, let's get into 4 stars then. Black Cliff Pole is very much a good option. Good base attack, gives crit damage, so you can balance your crit damage and crit rate. And while the effect is that you need to kill enemies to get stacks to increase your attack, well, with the amount of damage a Zhongli ult can deal, it is very much possible to get the kills with Zhongli. So, for a mixed, balanced Zhongli build that deals damage through the hold, through the ultimate, and still has a good shield to give, the Black Cliff Pole is very much usable to again balance your crit damage and crit rate, and you can gain extra attack through the ult just deleting enemies. Next up is the Crescent Bike, which you can craft, and for a physical damage Zhongli is of course what you need to get. 44 base attack, it gives physical damage bonus, and the effect is very much for a physical damage Zhongli. So for a physical damage Zhongli, go only for the Crescent Bike. The other weapons will help you balance your crit damage and crit rate, but because of that nice damage you'll be dealing with the Crescent Bike on a physical damage Zhongli, it's too good to pass up for sure. And of course, Crescent Bike is craftable and freely refinable. Deathmatch, extremely good option. I use Deathmatch. Bad base attack, sure. The crit rate though is very nice to balance it out, and you gain a permanent attack buff based on the number of opponents that are, close to Zhongli. So yeah, Deathmatch is a very good option for that middle ground Zhongli that again shields well and deals good amount of damage. Is it better than the Black Cliff Pole? Not necessarily in terms of damage, because Black Cliff has a better base attack. But if you don't have that many crit rate artifacts or circlets, then of course use Deathmatch to balance your crit damage and crit rate. Dragon's Bane, not for Zhongli. Lithic Spear. So Lithic Spear isn't a bad idea at all. Very good base attack, 44. It gives an attack percent bonus as its substat, so it allows you to use an HP Sands to balance out that HP and attack, and then its effect increases your attack and crit rate based on the number of Liyue characters you have in the party. Zhongli counts as one himself, so it's a very, very good option. Extra attack through the effect, extra crit rate to balance out your crit rate and crit damage, a lot of base attack, lots of attack percent, slap and HP Sands, and you have some good HP Sands to attack ratio. And yeah, it's a very, very good weapon on a Zhongli that is in a Liyue team. So a very, very good option. Prototype Star Glitter is the weapon that is also a weapon you can craft. If you're not going for a physical damage Zhongli, and you don't have any other spears out of the gacha, or Star Glitter, or you can't get the Deathmatch, so you're going fully free to play, then you need to use the Prototype Star Glitter compared to the Crescent Bike. Because yeah, Prototype Star Glitter has less base attack than the Crescent Bike, but it gives energy recharge, which everybody except the physical damage bonus Zhongli will use. And the effect, the effect is nice to deal some normal and charge attack damage after using your shield. Again, it's a good weapon for the absolute free-to-play. Favonius Lance isn't the worst idea. 44 base attack, that's nice, and its substat is energy recharge, and the effect is all about generating energy. For a max ult Zhongli, fully burst focused, the Favonius Lance isn't a bad idea. You'll get your meteors, you'll throw down meteors, you're gonna be dealing some good damage. Focus on, Noblesse and Archaic Petra on the artifact sets, or the new Inazuma Energy Recharge set, which increases your burst damage based on your energy recharge. With the Favonius Lance, you gain a lot of energy recharge, so you'll increase your damage on the burst, most likely more than what the Noblesse Oblige would give you. So if your Zhongli is only focused on dealing damage through the ultimate, then you can even go for an energy recharge Sands, or an energy Sands actually, because the circlets can't give you energy recharge. So you can go for an energy recharge Sands to give more burst damage through the 4-piece artifact set that is coming with Inazuma. So, and Favonius Lance can be a very good option. The base attack is very welcome. So yeah, for a middle of the ground balanced Zhongli that wants good shields and good burst damage, well, if you don't have anything else, then the Favonius Lance is very much useful to throw down more ults. But for other roles, like physical damage carry or others like shield bot, no, you don't want the Favonius Lance. Royal Spear, fuck the royal weapons, no. Dragon Spine Spear, not for Zhongli. Actually, yeah, not for Zhongli. The Crescent Bike is much better on a physical damage build. The new weapon that is coming with Inazuma that you can craft, not for Zhongli. It only increases your elemental skill damage and it's not much. Also, it gives an elemental mastery which Zhongli cannot use. So let's jump into 5 stars then. Well, the two major ones are Staff of Homa and the Jade Spear. Well, Staff of Homa is the best weapon everywhere. Well, in the physical damage build, the Crescent Bike does win, especially if you get it to high refinements. But Staff of Homa, my goodness. Staff of the Broken, as it's called. Very good base attack, gives a lot of crit damage. It increases your HP for free. It gives 20% extra HP. So you can skip on the tenacity of the Millilith if you got good HP through Staff of Homa. So, and then it increases your attack based on your HP. So it's another scaling factor for Zhongli since he just gets so much HP. I would even use Staff of Homa on a shield bot Zhongli. Yep. I would skip on the white tassel. If you have Staff of Homa and you don't have some other polearm user to use it, then please switch your Zhongli to just a complete absolute beast with Staff of Homa, and don't just leave it rotting on someone else you're not using and you're using that freaking black tassel. Like, come on. It's common, it's not really, it's just logic to say, oh, I got a Staff of Homa, and the only one I'm using is Zhongli, man, why should I have him as a poor shield bot? Come here, Zhongli, get the Staff of Homa, and go throw 100+ K meteors on enemies. Like, my goodness, Staff of Homa is so freaking good on Zhongli. On a geo-damaged Zhongli, actually, though, here's the thing. We're comparing it to the Jade Spear. The Jade Spear has better base attack than Staff of Homa, and it gives crit rate, that depends on, your artifacts. The effect of Jade Spear, though, gives you more attack usually than Staff of Homa. Especially, yes, if you reach that 50% threshold that Homa has, that gives you more attack based on your HP. Sure, it might outdamage a Jade Spear, but to get to that point, you'll need to take damage, and with Zhongli taking damage, it's forbidden to take damage with Zhongli. If you, want to let enemies just hit you to get the effect, it's not really a good strategy. So yeah, because with the shield, you're just never gonna take damage, you're never gonna reach that HP threshold for Homa. So that's why the Jade Spear gives you more attack than Staff of Homa, and especially in a geo damage Zhongli who stays on the field for a bit longer than a support Zhongli, then the Jade Spear is better, because with the Jade Spear you need to deal attacks, you need to hit enemies to get the stacks, while with Homa it's completely passive. So a support Zhongli that appears on the field to shield your party and throw down ultimates, Staff of Homa is better, because if your support is more on the field to get these Jade Spear stacks, no, you're losing time and DPS off of your main DPS that should be on the field, But if you're using Zhongli as a bit of a geo damage character, he's more on the field himself, Jade Spear provides more damage. Although again, if you're lacking in crit damage artifacts and you have both the Spear and Homa, well then, get Homa because you have less crit damage artifacts, more crit rate, balance it out, damn it. There's also Vortex Vanquisher. Now, Vortex Vanquisher can easily work on again, geo damage Zhongli if it's if you have it instead of Jade Spear, because it gives a lot of attack, it's based on having a shield always up on the character, and, well, Zhongli makes it work. Although, I would like to ask people, have you seen anyone with a Vortex Vanquisher going around? I haven't. Has this weapon ever appeared on a banner since release? Has it? No, it hasn't. So, yeah, the scarcity of Vortex Vanquisher that is most likely never going to appear again, yeah, makes it a bit hard to recommend. If you somehow have it, then it's okay on a geo damage Zhongli, because again, it's, Zhongli is the only character that makes Vortex Vanquisher work, and because of all the attack that Vortex Vanquisher can give you, you can go for an HP Sands to balance out your attack and HP, or go for an attack Sands and deal heavy meteor damage. But yeah, there's also Skyward Spine. Skyward Spine has good base attack, but it gives energy recharge, and because Zhongli's burst has a low energy cost, it's not that useful. The effect is nice, a bit of extra crit rate. The attack speed, you don't really care about it. And the effect, with the vacuum blades, it's okay-ish. In a Zhongli comp where you don't have another Geo character to work as a battery for Zhongli, you can use Skyward Spine. But again, you'll have trouble perhaps gaining some extra HP, balancing out your HP to attack, or your crit damage and crit rate. You might have some problems. You might need some better artifacts if you are to use Skyward Spine, to give a Zhongli a bit of extra energy recharge. But if you have someone like Albedo, if you have Ningyan, heck, if you're using the Geo Traveler, not really Ningyan, she doesn't generate that many particles. So if you're using any of the other three to, be a battery to Zhongli and get the Geo Resonance, because my goodness, the Geo Resonance is really busted, extremely busted. You don't need the Skyward Spine, you don't need any energy recharge if you have a battery for Zhongli. So yeah, that is it from me for Zhongli. Very versatile. He's really, really broken with that shield and the damage he can deal with the HP ratios. And yeah, he's the CEO of GEO, baby. And that is it for me. As for the characters we'll be taking a look at next, unfortunately, my time for uploads has ended. I'm going on holidays, you can say, and I'm going on a place that doesn't have good internet, so I can't really upload consistently. So yeah, I'll try to I have a few days, like 1 to 2 days remaining. I'll try to perhaps record some 4 stars, because we've run out of my 5 stars. So I'll try to get some 4 stars that I use or I like. To be honest, I would like to, review every character. But the problem is that many 4 stars that I've got and I would like to talk about, I've just left them at level 20 to get the free wish. And it's a bit hard to get footage with them. That's the only problem, really. So yeah, we'll see what I'll do. So perhaps next is gonna be Ningyan and Fischl. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next video when it comes. Bye bye.